Welcome everybody, we're doing Graphic God Draws again with me, Graphic God, and my special guest, Supersonic Station. Say hi, Supersonic. You absolutely do. That's awesome. So I've got some additions to today's stream. If you notice, I've got some music playing in the background. You probably can't hear it super, or maybe you can. But I've got some music playing, and I figured I'd add some metal since I'm very metal myself. See, the thing was I wasn't using any licensed stuff. I was using no, not at all. Can you make sure that the stream is live, because I'm not seeing anything. Okay. That's why I don't see it, because I'm on the wrong channel. I'm looking at the wrong channel. Yep. Nice. Yeah, okay, I see us there. UK's here, Daz, what's going on, brother? Thank you for sharing. You better pop up. If he is popping up, he sees a delayed pop-up. No, I'm noticing that, so I'm not quite sure, because I know that my Streamlabs is on top of all of my layers, so it should very well pop up, and I should have at least heard it. I don't know. No big deal, but thank you anyway. So like I said, today we're doing another Graphic God Draws, and I'm going to be drawing Spider-Man again. I'm going to draw him swinging. And I'm not meaning like him and Mary Jane are having sex with the neighbors. That's not what I mean by this. Oh, seriously? That is weird. Is Mary Jane gonna have any powers? Oh, I mean, she always was very, very cute in the comics, but I found that when they portrayed her in the movies, I mean, not to say that Kirsten Dunst wasn't an attractive lady, but she wasn't the caliber that I was expecting. I was expecting like supermodel caliber, but you know. Really? Kirsten Dunst? I don't know. I think my problem is that I remember Kirsten Dunst from Interview with the Vampire when she was just a kid, right? So it's hard for me to imagine her. And that's her. She was the little kid. Yeah. Crazy shite. Anyway. Okay, well, let's start drawing. Let's make sure that we've got everything going. So, like in the last show that I showed you guys, I always start off in Photoshop, so that's where I'm at right now. I created a canvas of 3000 by 3000 of 300 pixels per inch, and the reason why I do that is so that it's very clear and high quality when it comes through into my Illustrator when I do my tracing. Okay, so let's start doing some drawing. So we're just going to do some random sketches. Let's make sure my pencil is selected, or my brush is selected. Make sure it's the right size. Might be, oh, that's all right. Might make it a little less. I might lower the opacity on this. So right now, I don't remember the picture pages song. Help me remember it. Yeah, it's that sounds very familiar, but I don't remember how the song goes. Okay. So I almost always, when I'm creating characters, I don't like how dark my I don't like how dark my I don't like how dark my pencil is. I want to lower the opacity on this. Okay, so opacity is the difference between light and dark. So I am lowering its opacity. So right now my pencil is dark. It's like when you go to buy pencils, you have the H series and the B series. The H's are usually darker than the B's because they're harder. And that's kind of just how the terminology comes from. I mean, it's been a long time since I had to explain drawing to people, but it is one of my many talents. So, okay, so we're just gonna get rid of some of this. I don't like how dark it is. So what I'm gonna do instead, so I'm gonna pick my brush from my menu on the right, and I'm going to choose the color from the same palette, and I'm actually gonna reduce its opacity by moving it in the color spectrum, and I'm gonna move it to a lighter version of that same blue. Hit OK, and then we're going to do here. That's much better. What I think I am going to do as well is I'm going to make my stroke a little bit thicker. So I like to draw with a stroke a little thicker than this. So right now I think my stroke is at 90. I'm going to go up to like 120, something like that. Okay. So let's go back to our brush tool, and if you notice, I've got my layers palette open because today I'm not going to make the same mistake I made last time. I didn't put my webs on a different layer, which I should have. And that's what messed up my whole coloring technique. Okay, so let's start drawing again. We're going to draw the head, and I'm going to draw it at an angle because it's going to be swinging sideways. So yeah, I'm gonna do the bobblehead because I used to love drawing this style when I was younger. Just because, you know, like everyone draws realistic, whereas I like to be very cartoony when I draw. So, anyway, so there's his head, and then to represent the center of his face, I'm gonna draw a line. So that's gonna represent the center of his face. I'm gonna draw another line to represent. This is the horizontal center, and the other line is my vertical center. So from there, I'll know exactly where the eyes start. So I'm going to just draw a quick little circle in the center here to kind of represent where the webs or where the big eyes are going to start. And I always like to draw with big eyes. I think I explained this in the last episode that I was a big Todd McFarlane fan growing up. So he was one of the first artists to draw Spider-Man with huge eyes, and so I always like to kind of copy or kind of emulate his style a little bit. So I'm just gonna erase this. So this is the beauty of using Photoshop and drawing this way, is the fact that if you make a mistake, you can quickly erase it and start from scratch again. So let's do this again. We're going to draw her eyes. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, basically. Yeah, this is something that I actually taught one of my daughters who got into art. I showed her how to trace things lightly, or to do her drawings lightly to start, so that she can you know, clean up things afterwards and not have to worry about a big mess. Yeah, okay, so I'm just trying to get the eye the way I want it, and this is looking alright. I don't mind that eye, so I'm gonna kind of try to duplicate that on the other side. Doesn't have to be perfect. Hey Jesse, how's it going, buddy? I just did I just put Jesse's design on a t-shirt. Yeah, I did his design a while ago and he asked me to put on a shirt for him, so I did. And just to let everyone know that Redbubble's got a 25% deal going on right now on my site. It's on all of Redbubble, but if you go to my Twitter page, you'll see a tweet from me and it'll have a code in it, and you can use that code and you can get 25% off of certain shirt styles. So go save some money. Go save some money. So now I'm just doing the inside of the eyes. They don't have to be perfect, as long as, you know, it looks like something you like. I might go a little wider here. It's not going to matter when I'm tracing, because then whatever little mistakes or little inconsistencies that I don't like, I can always fix later on. So there's his head. I'm going to just zoom in a little bit. Oh, you're right, yeah, because Deadpool, I think Deadpool's design was very similar. Like, the guy who created Deadpool, I think, took after Spawn and Spider-Man to create his mask. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that it's something like that. Because if you look at it, I mean, the similarities can't be denied. I'm just going to tidy up a little bit of this. Okay, so now I've got my head done. I'm going to start with the body. So the body's going to be kind of in a forward motion. Let's go try something like, maybe something like this. And like I was saying in the last show, that you know, if you can draw in shapes basically convert to everything. So if you can use shapes to portray what you want to draw, then in the end it'll basically work out for you, because you can convert any shape into anything, really. If you look at your hand, open up your hand and put it in front of you, you know, your hand is basically a bunch of rectangles. So if you can think that way, you can basically draw anything. Right. Yeah, well, yeah. I think that's how I learned too, was using circles for everything. That's how I started. But then when I went to art school, they kind of showed us other ways to do it. And I started using rectangles, and I started using everything, really. Okay, so we've got his body done. Let's do his legs. Let's try something like this. So he's kind of in the air, so his legs are going to be kind of up, and he's swinging, so he's kind of all over the place, because that's the way Spider-Man. If you ever seen some of the drawings of Spider-Man when he's contorting it through the air when he's swinging and stuff, it's amazing how even in the movies, especially like the last one with the Infinity War, how they had him swinging and all this different contortions during the swinging process. It was amazing. And that's kind of one of the cool things about Spider-Man, that he's so flexible that he can basically go into any position. Okay, and this leg here, let's try something like this. Okay, we're just getting an outline done first. We're going to make that a little bigger. Okay, zoom out a little bit. Okay, he's looking good. So he's got one arm out swinging, and his other arm will be out behind his head, so you won't really see it. So let's say something like, that's going to be behind his head, so don't worry, I'm not going to be messing up what he looks like. And let's have him with his fist closed, because he's going to be, of course, swinging. And we'll do him in the fashion with 3 fingers and a thumb, because I like that style. And let's Yeah, complicated animation. Yeah, so Simpsons and Family Guy. If you look at those guys, I know Simpsons for sure. When he has 3 fingers. Family Guy, I think. But yeah, it was just because when you had to animate so much on a character, you didn't want to have to animate individual fingers, so it was easier just to create 3 fingers. I learned that when I was doing animation. Oh. Yeah, to this day they do. Yeah, and now you'll always notice. So if you go and watch some shows now, you'll notice that they're using it. So I can't say for sure that they're using it in a lot of modern ones, like Archer. I'm not sure if they're using it in Archer, but yeah, in a lot of the old ones, especially like stuff from the 70s and 80s. Okay, what's your challenge? Okay, I like these things. Okay, sounds good to me. Okay. So what's he gonna be doing with his hand here? I guess he's just gonna be kind of. His hand's gonna be just in a regular pose because he's going to be. He's gonna be swinging, so he doesn't need his whole. He doesn't need that hand doing anything except for basically waiting for the next swing. Kind of thinking that I want that other arm to be a little longer, so we're going to use our handy dandy lasso tool. I better create a new layer. Put it behind. Should have done this first. Created 2 layers and like had one layer that was just white and the other layer that was where I was doing my drawing. But I never think of this stuff until I'm done. But that's okay. I just fixed that by creating a new layer. Layer 1 is going to be my background layer, and I'm gonna lock it so that won't be moving. Layer 2 is where I'm going to draw, or layer 0. Maybe I'll rename it layer 2. Can I type 2? My keyboard's not working. That's alright. Layer 0. Doesn't matter what it's called. That'll be where I'm drawing. So I'm going to take my lasso, and I'm going to draw circle around the hand. I'm going to edit, I'm going to transform, and I'm going to scale. And I'm going to make the arm a little longer. I think that's good. Just didn't want to make it too long. I just wanted to make it a little bit longer, and I don't want to redraw it. So that all makes sense. Okay. So that's just using my my transform option. So I basically created a selection over what I wanted to transform, and then I went to edit, transform, scale, and then I can basically just scale it to whatever size I want just by stretching it. Okay, so there's Spider-Man. Oh, he needs some webs. Let's zoom in a little bit. So the webs I always liked are the really complicated webs. If you've ever seen, I think Todd McFarlane started them, where the webs didn't just look like a rope; they looked like a bunch of tangled ropes together, which it's a really cool concept. And I really like that style, so I'm going to continue off with that. So let's create that, and then this is going to go down here, and then there's going to be like some crazy squiggles around there, something like that. Okay, so now that we've got our shape done, I can now go in and get rid of some of the things that I don't want. So for instance, I don't need this line because you're not going to see it because it's behind the head. So we can go in and kind of just erase some of these things that we don't want. And we can do this in the tracing process, but it's always fun. It's always better to get things almost exactly how you want them in the sketch, so that you're not doing a lot of guessing when you're doing the tracing. So that's good. Let's go back and draw some more of his feet there. Yeah. Yeah, so what I'm going to do after I'm done drawing him and tracing him, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring him into a program called Adobe Animate, where I can create an animated movie of him. And I'll create that movie on a green screen, on a green background, so that I can then superimpose it in OBS on anything that I want and have him swing around. How's that sound? Actually, I think I'm going to make my canvas a little bit bigger because I want the web to be bigger. So I'm going to go to Image, Canvas Size. Right now it's 10 by 10. Let's make it. My keyboard doesn't work. Why doesn't my keyboard work? I'm going to have to improvise here. 20. Yeah. Really. It's like my wireless keyboard doesn't work, but the one attached to my Surface does, and I had my Surface keyboard folded in behind, so I wasn't using it. So there. That's good. That's good. And let's fill our background full of white again. Fill. Oh, he's locked. With my what? My Stream Deck? Can I do shortcuts in Photoshop? I don't know. I thought it was specifically for streaming software. Oh, really? Oh, I'll definitely look into that because that would save a lot of time for sure. Okay, so now that we've got our shape done, let's kind of, my puppy's outside my door. Come here on, Wallace. Wallace. Hi, puppy. Do you want to come say hi? Want to come say hi? No? No, he wants to run away. Come here. Come on. Jump in Daddy's lap. No, he doesn't mind jumping at her. Oh, my green screen's going everywhere. Okay. No, he's gone. Okay. What the hell's going on here? Confirm. Okay. I was just looking at OBS and OBS was acting weird. Okay, so now that I've increased my canvas size, I'm going to shrink it down so now you guys can see him much smaller on the screen. Now I can basically make my my web longer because I'm going to need it longer. Bit of boom. So yeah, make it longer because I don't know how much room I'm going to need in OBS. So I'm going to make sure I have as much space as I can. Okay. So let's zoom back into Spidey. Let's give Spidey some details. Let's see here. So Spidey has... Oops. Where's my... Okay, where's my pen? Spidey always has a weird, funky looking belt. I like to go with the classic look of Spider-Man, so it kind of has a little bit of a belt. And then it goes up like that. And then he has gloves. I'll go like that. And we'll do the same thing over here. And he has boots. How big are his boots? Let's give him some tall boots. Okay. And that's good. So let's draw his little spider here. Sure. What do you do? Oh, that's awesome because you know I always learn better by watching. My best friend is lynda.com. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's basically a tutorial website, and I use it a lot because, like I said, I just learn better by watching. If I was reading a book and the book was trying to tell me what to do, I wouldn't pick it up as easily, just the way I am. I'm a visual person, so I need to learn by watching. Okay, so now that we got the shape of his costume down, it's time to put on some webs. So since we already drew the circle between his eyes, we can start there. Draw one web there, one web there. We keep this one up the center. Do it like that. That would be cool, actually. Yeah. Right. Oh yeah. I know there's so many people that love to draw, and like I love drawing, and I think the first time I did the graphic art draws with you and Stink, it made me remember how much I love drawing, and I was itching to do more of it. I don't get to do enough of this drawing by hand. A lot of the work that I do now is, of course, through computer, and I do the stuff on computer because it saves time, basically. I'll do a couple of those. So it OBS shit to bed. Well, that sucks. Seriously? So were you able to get in and fix it? But if you couldn't log in because they changed it the first time, how would you get in? Oh, I see. Don't they have like two-part authentication on that stuff? Right. Right. I hear you. Yeah, you kind of have to these days. Well, yeah. Well, you can't. What's that term? You can't take blood from a rock or something like that. Blood from a stone. Okay, so at this point, I think our sketch is ready to, and this was much faster than the last time I did them. So we can go from here, and we're going to take him into Adobe Illustrator, and we're going to trace him. So we're going to save as, I'm going to save it as a JPEG. I'm gonna have to, what's that? Oh, I've heard of it. I've not had a lot of experience with it, but I have used it briefly. Right. Oh wow. What is the file type that he needs to be? If it's OBJ, let me know. I can create OBJs. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, so now we've done in Photoshop. We got our sketch done. We're gonna go into Illustrator. So let's go to Illustrator. These are all Adobe products, and if you're a member of Adobe Creative Cloud, which I am, you get all of them, which is awesome. I had for a small monthly fee, and I think I was explaining in the last episode that before, when you used to have to buy the software, they were like $1,200 a piece. $1,200 a piece. So now it's a much much more affordable way for people to get into this stuff. So it depends on if you're a student, it's cheaper than business, and if you're an educational institute, you're cheaper than business. So I think business is like $50 a month. Educational institutes is $30 a month, and I think students are $20 some a month. But of course, you have to prove you're a student by sending in to Adobe your photo ID and credentials and stuff like that. Okay, so we just opened up Illustrator. We're going to place, file, place. I'm going to go to my desktop where I saved my graphic. It's called Spidey Sketch. Place him in there. It's going to be big, but that's okay because I can increase my canvas size whatever I need. I just said that you rocked. You got an achievement. You got an achievement for tweet me out. And this is for Jesse. Thank you for watching, Jesse. Yes, it does. A rare? Oh, with the diamond. Yeah, I was thinking about doing that. Okay, so that's that. Let's zoom in a little bit. Oh, better lock this layer. Oh, I don't want to be in touch mode. Kinda. So I got my layers open here. I'm not going to make the mistake I made the other day. I'm going to make sure that I put everything on separate layers. So my layer 1 is my sketch. So we're going to call this... Shit, I can't call it anything because my keyboard's not working. Why is my keyboard not working? Maybe my batteries are dead. I don't care. I'm not naming anything. I'll just make sure they're all on separate layers. Okay. Stop. Okay. So he's going to be on layer 1. I'm going to lock him so I don't touch him. I'm going to go on layer 2, and I'm going to do my outlines on layer 2. So I'm going to change my color palette. I'm going to make everything black. I like to have, I like to start my sketches in black, meaning my outlines. So I'll do all my outlines in black, just so that they're dark enough that I can see them no matter what I do. That's all. I just start with black. I could be anything. I could be red. I could be purple. I could be anything. But I like starting in black because it reminds me of drawing in pencil, of course. So my foreground color and my stroke color are both black. That's fine. Let's open up my brushes. And then we're going to go to my brush library. So we're going to go to Open Brush Library. I'm going to go to Artistic Ink. So Artistic Ink is where I get my favorite brush. And if you scroll through, there's lots of different brushes you can use here, but I like to use this one here that's tapered on both ends. It simulates what real illustration and animation uses. So now that I've got him, I've got my brush chosen. My stroke is 1. I'm not sure if that's going to be big enough, but we'll see as soon as I start drawing. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit on his head, and we're going to start drawing his head. Let's see if this is going to... What? What's that? Right. Right. Nice. Nice. I don't know. The woman that actually taught me how to do classical animation, she trained at Sheridan College in Ontario, and Sheridan College is where a lot of Disney hires a lot of its animators from. Yeah. So there's his head, and draws his arm. So do you remember what I said last time about overlapping? That's right. So, yeah. So that's the whole thing about outlining, overlapping. Overlapping helps you save time. Plus, in Illustrator, there's a method so that you can basically get rid of all the lines you don't want fairly easily. And I'm going to make sure I make it even easier this time by not drawing my webs on the same layer. Because putting the webs in creates way too many lines, way too many things to deal with, so I'm just going to do the outline first. Well, I wouldn't consider myself that quality, but I appreciate that. You know, I have a lot of respect for those guys and the amount of time they put into animation, because animation is it's a grueling process. Like, we're talking 24 frames per second. That's how many hand-drawn sketches there were for, say, Snow White. You know, for every second there was 24 drawings. Yeah, it's a lot of work. A lot of work. Oh yeah. Well, the good thing about the modern animation is that there are lots of shortcuts. There are things that do in-betweens for you that will save you a ton of time. So I'm not saying it's not hard work. It is, but the modern methods help you save a lot of time. They kind of simulate what it used to be like in the old days, but they do make it a little easier. No, the type of animation which is grueling now is stop motion, stuff like the claymation from I'm trying to remember the name of the company that did Wallace and Gromit and did Chicken Run and did Flushed Away. Aardman Studios? I think that's the name of them. Anyway, that stuff there is insane. Kind of time that they put into that. It blows me away. What's that? Right. No, because the way that they used to do it, they used to have to draw everything. So what they would do is they would draw keyframes first. And what a keyframe is a major point in the movement. So basically, let me give you a good example. So when we started learning animation, we started with squash and stretch. That's what they called it. So basically, I had to learn how to make a ball bounce. And the major points of a ball bouncing are the point where it starts at the top. So where's my camera? So the point where you start at the top, and then when it hits the ground, that's another one, and then at that point it squishes really, really tight, so that'd be another one, and then it would bounce really fast, so we'd go back up. So all those are keyframes, right? So you draw those first, and you get all those down the way you want them, and then you would pick exact center points to each of those animations, and you draw the center animations of those. And that's called in-betweening. And the big animators did all the keyframes, and the grunts did the in-betweening. So when you see, yeah, well, they're basically the in-betweeners, we used to call them, and basically they're just guys that just do in-betweens. They don't do keyframes, but they're great at doing in-betweens. They don't have to worry about making it look realistic. All they need to do is remember how to do in-betweens from what the main animator drew. So yeah, I know it's a weird process, but basically in-between is sometimes much easier than keyframing, even though the keyframes, there aren't as many keyframes as there are in-betweens. It's the fact that those keyframes are the main focuses, so you have to make sure those are perfect. I don't know if that made any sense. It didn't make a whole lot of sense when I was saying it, but it made sense in my head. Maybe someday I'll do a quick little tutorial on squash and stretch. I can use Adobe Animate for that too. Okay, so we have the legs done. We have one arm done. Let's do that. There you go. Well, sounds good to me. I need an intern. It's true. I mean, think about Justin Bieber. He was discovered on the internet. A lot of big musical artists were all discovered on the internet. Yeah, exactly. It's funny, that show, I can't get enough of that. I can sit down and watch episode after episode, because I don't watch them when they're live, but I usually catch the reruns because my daughter records them. But I could sit there and watch that for 12 hours. I love especially like magic. I love magicians. Oh, Fumi. Oh yeah, I love Penn and Teller Fumi. Yeah. And they used to have one called Bullshit too. Yeah, Penn and Teller Bullshit is basically you try to fool them, and they basically tell you if it's bullshit or not. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's an awesome show. It really is. Yeah. Hey, what's going on, Glingy Venom? I'm doing some Graphic God draws. I'm drawing Spider-Man again, so if anyone's watching now, you're noticing that I'm turning off my background layer to see what my lines look like, and everything kind of looks clean. I think it's a very good starting point for where I want to go next. Got a couple little things I want to get rid of here. How do you find MNC evenings? Well, it depends on whose channel it's on. It's never on mine. So you can, if you if you subscribe to Mooch or Crap, you will they will most likely tweet it out and let you know. If you're subscribed to them, it's either on Mooch's channel or Crap's channel. I think tonight it's on, I want to say it's on Mooch's channel tonight, and it comes on at 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock. What is it? It's 9 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock my time, so that'd be 7 o'clock Eastern. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Just it's not on the official MNC channel until a week later. Exactly. Okay, so now that we've got this done, we're going to clean up our outline. So we're going to do. There, I gotta get my keyboard back here. So we're going to select all. We're going to go up under Edit. I'm going to say Expand. Or sorry, Object Expand. And what that does is basically takes all the lines and converts them to shapes. Kind of. There's also a Convert Lines to Shapes option, but that's for something else. And then it's because this is the way that the process works, where I can actually get rid of the lines. Because I think this is not an actual feature. I think this is a workaround that somebody came up with. So now that that's done, I'm going to go into Live Paint. I'm going to make a Live Paint. So now it's made into a Live Paint where I can start painting basically with my paint bucket. But then I'm also going to go back into Object. I'm going to expand again. Don't ask me why I have to expand twice, but it tells me you do. And it's going to expand Objects, Fills, and Strokes. Hit OK. Everything's done. Now I can select individual sections and delete them. It just makes everything look a little cleaner. Well, yeah, I've got a keyboard now. I had to flip out my keyboard just to do this. I've got a keyboard attached to my Surface that I'm using, but I have a wireless keyboard that I normally use, and for some reason it's just not working. I think the batteries must be dead in it. The mouse works, and they're both working from the same wireless dongle, so yeah, I said dongle. So I don't know. It must be a battery thing. Oh, you mean the touchpad? Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of them either. Although the Surface touchpad's not terrible. I really like it. It's smooth and it's very responsive. But generally I don't care for touchpads on your laptops. So just to let people who don't know what I'm doing, I'm basically just going in after I've expanded everything and created a Live Paint. I'm just going in and everything that I've overlapped that I don't want, I'm just going to click on it and delete. And I learned this technique from watching a YouTube channel. I was quite shocked. I think there was a guy, he was drawing a picture of the Incredible Hulk or something, and he showed this method and I adopted it, and I've been using it ever since. It's really, really useful. So what do you think of the outline of Spider-Man so far? Do you think he looks like a Spider-Man? It's all about proportions. It's all about perspective and proportions. That's all. That's right, he is the amazing Spider-Man. Okay, so now our outline is done. I'm not going to make a mistake, and I'm going to create a new layer. Ooh. Right. Oh, kind of, yeah, for sure. Yeah, he could probably be turned into a Mega Man. And then I'm going to turn on my sketch layer. Then we're going to go back to layer 3 and get my pen out. And this time I'm going to go a little thinner. So I think the stroke I was using the last time was maybe a 1 or a 0.5. I don't remember exactly. I'll know in a second. Yeah, so it was okay. So that's a 1. That's too big. Let's go 0.5. Nope, that's still too big. Let's go 0.25. And I'm just changing it up here in the menus. There, 2.25. Oh, you probably could. I'll definitely look into it. Okay, so now we're going to start doing some details in his face, and the fact that I've got this on a separate layer, everything should be good. So let's start drawing his eye. I know it's hard to see, you're not seeing this being drawn in real time. It's kind of too bad. Maybe there's a fix for that. But it'd be nice if you guys could actually see me see the lines being drawn like real time on the pencil, but I am drawing them with a pencil on the Surface tablet. What's that? Yes. Yes. Oh, I probably could, rather than seeing my ugly mug. It's funny, I do have another camera. It's always going. That is not true. You have an awesome brain. So were you the guy in that commercial? You know, this is your brain. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions? Do you remember that commercial? The whole time I'm thinking, eggs. Yep. See, we didn't have that, but we had something here on Much Music, which was basically the Canadian version of MTV. It was called the... No. We didn't have MTV. We had Much Music. Okay. I'm cool with that. Okay, so that's done. Actually, I should bring his eyes. I'm going to cut those eyes out and put them on the lower layer. So I don't know if anyone sees what I'm doing in the layers. Basically, I cut them from layer 3, and I'm going to paste them on layer 2 so that they're all part of the same setup here. Yeah, same layers of the outline. I probably could have done that in the place, but it doesn't matter. So now that that's done, and I did that so that I could basically fill them in right away. So I'm just going to select my layer 2, an object, I'm going to live paint. Make. Shit. Forgot to expand first. Yeah, that's why you have to expand. Is because if you create a live paint before you expand your lines, they'll shrink. That's why you do it. I just remembered. Okay. No, shrinkage is bad, no matter what situation. Oh, I gotta take a call. I'll be right back. Hello.
Hi. Hello.
Hi. Okay, I'm back. My wife is on her way home from work, which probably means I may have to end the stream. I may end up... Yeah, I'm going to have to end the stream quicker than I thought. But let me quickly just do something. I'm going to create live paint. And then I'm going to fill in my eyes really fast here. So I'm going to choose my live paint bucket. Didn't I just... So there's our eyes are filled in. I'm gonna zoom out. Oh, shit, didn't even do that. It really sucks when I can't use my other keyboard. So this is what we have so far. Yeah, I'm gonna do my lines next, but I think I'm gonna have to quit for now, and I'll come back when I'm done getting stuff ready, because my wife's coming home and she's gonna want supper ready, and that's just the way it goes. That's right. I'm a hut slut. And she just asked me that, and I said I have no idea. I said the kids ate like less than an hour ago, so they're not even gonna be hungry to eat anything. I have a super pot. Not just a crock pot, I have a super pot. It's like a pressure cooker. It's like a crock pot, but cooks everything in like half the time. Yeah. Okay, well, anyway, guys, like I said, I'm going to end the stream for now. I will be back later on. Don't forget M&C evenings tonight at 7 7 o'clock Eastern, and it's either on Mooch's or Crap's channel. Don't know. We'll figure that out. And oh, there's a new top 10 tonight, so stay tuned for that. I spent 2.5 hours editing the top 10 last night, and I was very, very proud of it when I was done. Dog. That's right. So, yeah, and you can find all the old episodes on this channel and all the individual skits on this channel so that you don't have to watch an entire episode to see them. I put them all up there too. And speaking of skits, when am I going to get a new Yoshida? Yes, you can. Maybe do one involving Gamescom. Well, if you had it done, maybe. Cool. That's awesome. Okay, anyway, thank you very much for everyone showing up. And this is for you. You rock. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subbing. And please do not forget to follow. Follow me and Supersonic. I know. Well, we'll figure that out too. Okay. Bye, everyone.